Okay, here we go with another S.A. Cosby and his narrator, Adam L. White. Oh my goodness, this book. Okay, so this book had like a beginning of S.A. Cosby talking. And he talked about how he was in the afterlife. I guess I'm going to just say funeral business. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't go there. I don't. And some of the images in the book, I'm not really wanting to know about what would happen to my body after I take my last breath. But he went into some detail. I didn't appreciate it. Now, I will say, often, I will fall asleep listening to some of my books. I keep hitting the snooze button for 15 minutes. I didn't do that with him because I didn't want to hear nothing about no funeral home business and what they do to bodies when they take them in there. So I had to read this one in the broad daylight listen to it in the broad daylight because I was not wanting to sleep with that. But besides that, I loved it. I loved all the action. I loved all the fighting. I loved how he was talking about hitting people with his elbows and oh my gosh. And again, here we go with a corrupt pastor. Not only one, but two. So here we go. In my darkest prayer, Nathan Waymaker is an ex-Marine, ex-cop, and a reluctant fixer for hire in a small town where justice is often served under the table. When a local minister dies under suspicious circumstances, Nathan is pulled into brutal investigation that exposes the underbelly of hypocrisy, corruption, and small-town secrets. So this minister died. He supposedly committed suicide, but he didn't. It was a sex ring, y'all. The minister was having so-called Bible study on the Song of Solomon. And if anybody is familiar with this book, this is probably one of the most sexual books in the Bible. I could not understand why people why in church I never heard anybody quote anything from the Song of Solomon. Y'all, decided to read the Bible in a year, and when I got to that section, I said, oh, now I see why. We're not going to talk about this in church. But anywho, that was the book that Reverend Esau was talking about. Esau. I'm sorry, I think that's his name, Esau. The only way you can be having Bible study with that book is if you're touching somebody. And he was touching people. And they know no parts. And it was nasty. It might not be nasty if you're into that kind of thing. I'm not into that kind of thing. I'm not into group sex, but, that's what they were doing. So it was a lot of twists. He started out in this trailer park. He had to beat that little man up to get some info out of him. It ended up where he got kidnapped and taken to this man named Shade. And Shade found out that man in the trailer park wasn't giving all the money to the church. Then it ended up with this mega pastor named Thomas somebody. I can't remember his name either. But anywho, it was a mess. It was a mess. I will say that the minister that died, both of the ministers died, but Reverend Esau did do something bad to his daughter, Lisa. And so, first of all, as a person, Second of all, as a father to a daughter. And then third of all, you claim to be a minister. Although when he did what he did to his daughter, he wasn't a minister, but whew, it was bad. Reverend Esau Watkins was the minister that he was a drug dealer, he was a minister. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all my favorite, although Nate was the protagonist, but my favorite character was Skunk. Oh my God, I love Skunk. He has minor roles, but you know Skunk is like one of them little angels, not little angel, but he's like an angel. He just comes in when he gets there right on time. And his little humor is so cute. He made the comment to these guys that were trying to beat Nate up. He was like, I'm not going to kill nobody in somebody else's house unless they give me permission. That's just one of the little quotes that I remember from the book. But it was cool. It was cool. I loved it. Loved it. So, again, I rated this as a 5 out of 5. It is fast-paced. And I kind of like, this is the second book I've read of him, of S.A. Cosby, so I like what he does. Nathan Waymaker is deeply compelling character. He's flawed, he's introspective, and surprisingly spiritual for someone who solves problems with his fists and fury. I will say, even in the last book that I read of his, All the Sinners Bleed, a lot of scripture are intertwined in here. And it's not like they're just being thrown around. They come in right at the right time. And I like that. Not saying that I'm a scripture queen, because I'm not. But you know how sometimes authors will be writing and just throw something in and it's kind of out of the way. This was how people would automatically throw a scripture in. So it was good. So this novel lays the groundwork for the powerhouse storytelling Cosby is known for. Yes. And it balances moments of humor. Like I said, Skunk, I loved him. Heartache and hard truth while exploring themes of racial identity, religion, and moral ambiguity. My final thoughts. If you like thrillers, this is it. Character driven with purpose. Nathan is a new kind of anti-hero. He was a hero. Nathan is a hero, one who seeks peace but never runs from violence when justice calls. He actually got dragged into it. He didn't even want to be involved. Nathan wanted to sit back there in his cousin's funeral home, because that's where he was living, chilling, and got sucked into all this mess. But yeah, it was good. Highly recommend. I probably would buy this book because it was good. And I actually was trying to get to King of Ashes. But that book, I got to wait a while to get to that book from the library on Libby. I can't even get it in Hoopla because it's so... Cosby, I'm glad you're a good author. But, man, I got to wait for the King of Ashes. I can't wait. I'm excited. If you all decide to read this book, it's 288 pages. And if you listen to it, it's 9 hours. Bye.